Yo, what's going on, you guys, and welcome back to the Anime Plus podcast. This is your podcast for everything anime and anime related. In today's episode, we got the co-host Owen as per usual. Owen, say what's up.
What's going on? How's it going? What's up?
All right, but we also got a special guest, longtime friend of myself and Owen, and fellow podcaster. I've done some pods with him in the past. One of my boys, longtime friends, Shaman. Shaman, say what's good.
What's good, guys?
So yeah, today we're gonna be talking about Pokemon, one of the most successful franchises of all time. Whether it's the show, the anime, whether it's a trading card game, gaming, like legit, it's touched on every single cylinder that there is, and it's just really successful. It's a core memory for a lot of us. So I guess let's start off here. What was your guys' first experience getting into Pokemon? Shaman, I'll start with you.
Okay, so I want to clarify this question. Are you talking about just overall exposure? Are you talking about games or the show or which one? Or just the first?
Just your first exposure to Pokemon in general.
I think my first one was definitely it had to have been what do you call it? Super Smash Bros. Like when I saw like Pikachu being one of the playable characters, and then eventually I watched the show. Like at least until the Johto League. So I remember seeing this. I'm like, bro, what is this like little dude just constantly like, lightning bolting everywhere? Like, what's going on? So ever since then, like it's my love for the medium and just the entire way, like anything Pokemon has just been it's been evolving ever since. So Pokemon Gold, and then all the way to Pokemon like Sun and Moon, and then going backwards to play a few of the other games, and even playing some of the side games like Pokemon Snap and a little bit of Legends Arceus. So it's uh like I don't know, it was just easily accessible. And I always find it funny that like Pokemon is a show is like a it's like an art that's or no, it's an intellectual property that's made for children, but it's like mainly relevant to like grown ass adults. Like and then
That's facts.
yeah. So that's oh man, there's so much to say. Like I don't want to take up too much time for everyone else.
I think that's very similar to my starting up where I'm the youngest of three brothers and a sister, but my oldest brother, we had an N64 when I was first growing up, and honestly at that time I don't even remember shit, but I remember one Pokemon game. I think it was called Pokemon Coliseum or something like that. It
That was so
was
good.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I remember just like I don't know what it was, but back in the day, Nintendo had like the graphics of like futuristic graphics. And I just remember seeing all the Pokemon, and from that game, my brother was a huge Pokemon, addict too. And he got, I think it was Leaf Green or Fire Red for the Game Boy Advanced,
Yeah.
and I used to play the shit out of that. Then when I got older, I got into Cartoon Network, then I got into the show. And used to watch the show religiously. I used to come back home, go on the computer, watch the show. Um for as long as I can remember, I was watching the show, and I used to like Pokemon was a big part of my life when it came to even the physical cards. You played with physical cards at all?
Yeah, so there was this one kid down the street that I used to play uh Pokemon trading card game with, and like he used to have them, and every now and then they would just come over. We would just like pretend to know what we were doing when we were young kids. But that was my exposure with it. Back, I'm gonna throw it back to you, bro.
No, but for me it was actually a bit different. For me, the whole school, like my whole class, used to play with Pokemon cards, and
Yeah.
we used to bring them all to like to the lunch table. But the thing is, it got so out of hand that like the teachers were like, they just banned Pokemon cards completely. But we used to like there was a lot. Pokemon cards were kind of like currency in my school, so we used to do things where like we would play like Uno, and then we'd bet like Pokemon cards, or we would
Yo, what the-
or we'd
Oh
play
my goodness.
or we'd play the Pokemon. We'd play with Pokemon cards, like like our fake version of playing with Pokemon cards, and
Yeah.
whoever won kind of took the cards. There was a lot of that happening, so shit was getting crazy, and they started banning everything. But I have this one story that I did talk about in a previous episode where the teacher took my cards. It was me and like three other kids. She took our cards, and we went back upstairs during lunchtime, and this was like third grade. We went back up during lunchtime, snuck into the room, took our cards back, and at the end of the day, she was supposed to give it back, or I don't know what she was actually wasn't gonna give it back. It was like till the end of the year she takes it, so that's why
Oh,
we yeah, it was kind of it was yeah she was a mean ass teacher, so we stole them, and then at the end of the day, she realized that someone took the cards, like our cards, and she was like she basically was trying to like threaten us. She was like, "Yo, we're not leaving the classroom until someone coughs up the cards." You know, we all stayed silent. We kept it a buck, and no one's Loki, no one snitched. We got our cards back, but bro, when I tell you, she probably had like over 300 cards in there. Like she had mad cards in there. She was taking it from kids. It's kind of fucked. But Aray, how about you? You played with the cards at all?
I did a little bit. I think I started mostly from the TV show, and then I got the cards, and then I got the games. So honestly, I was all over the place. I didn't know how to play the game at all. I have a little brother, and I obviously just kind of abused him. Like I just make up rules and shit so I could beat him. So that was how I started. But yeah, I mean, there's so many aspects to Pokemon. It's crazy. There's like the show, the trading card game. There's even like a community building aspect with like Pokemon Go. Did you guys ever play that?
Yeah, I used to play. I mean, I used to play Pokemon Go here and there, but I
Mhm.
had this like so in New York City, Pokemon Go was huge. Like people used to go to like certain areas and locations. And bro, when I tell you, I have never seen that many people in that specific area ever in my life. Like literally, there would be like the
Still?
whole no, not now, but when Pokemon Go was popping,
Mm.
there'd like all the streets would be full, right? And then you'd hear like this guy go like, "There's a Blastoise over here," and then you'd see like literally like 300 people go towards the guy to try to catch the Blastoise. It was kind of crazy. But yeah, one of my friends, he used to literally drive around. Like, man's was a bit wild with it. People were pretty crazy for Pokemon Go when it came out.
Yeah, I know Shaman's into it. He was the one that got me back into it when it kind of died off.
yeah.
Shaman, do you still run it?
Yeah, every single day I try to do at least the daily spin as well as like, at least
Nice.
keep my streaks going. But I think I really got back into it around uh I remember playing it like the first few weeks it came out in 2016. Then I played it again nonstop in 2020 back when COVID happened. So
Yo, yo, that's crazy because I feel like COVID really hurt it, right? Because I feel like nobody was able to kind of go outside and really, like you have to walk around to activate some of the things like hatch eggs and stuff. So I feel like that really hurt.
well allegedly allegedly sometimes I would be driving my car and and
Hey,
allegedly
yo.
at times like I would just spin it from like about 50 meters away.
Nah, I gonna lie, I did the same thing, man. I
Yeah, I was
can't
gonna
lie.
say. I'm like, I would never walk up to it. Like, I'd just be walking like mad far away. I'm like, I'll be at the literal border and try. I'm like, spam the spin button until I like registered, and then after that, I'll just walk the other way. But,
That's hilarious. You know what I never got about it? Like, when you battle gyms, right?
yeah,
I swear I would take it over, and then like nobody else is around, and somebody else would take it over. That makes no sense to me. I'll be looking around for whoever did it.
yeah, because you would never know because it's not a direct line of sight. Like, people could be
Mm,
inside buildings and whatnot. So
true,
one place
true.
you should never do the gym battles is in an airport because like, don't even bother. Like, your dude's gonna be out in a solid 4 seconds. So yeah, like yeah, I very much like got too much into it, and like our one good friend Ducky, he was also very much into it as well. He like, but as of recently, like the company's been making awkward decisions, especially regarding the remote raid passes when they've like made it more expensive and they put like a limit on it and everything. It's just I don't know. It's but that company's policies are just a little bit all over the place.
Whoa, what else? What else have they done? I haven't
Uh,
played in a while, so
I mean, there's a lot of like bad things, but I think that sticks out to me the most is the fact that they made. Well, maybe we should have been a bit more cognizant in terms of like what they had said, but during uh during the big the Roni because I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
it's demonetized during the Roni they had made the remote raid passes, three of them discounted,
Hmm.
so people would buy them a lot, and then like
Hmm.
and to your point as well, like a lot of people would just prefer to play the game, and they would just like do like those raids, like for like Mewtwo and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
They would do that from like I would join raids from people that were chilling in like what is it, like Singapore or something like that.
What the heck? This is
Yeah,
kind of cool.
bro, everyone was spamming it nonstop. And because they would just buy the raid passes, do the raids, and catch the thing, or if they couldn't, just continue to do it nonstop. And for some
Mhm.
reason, they just have made it more expensive and then put a limit on it. And I don't know what they're doing at this point. I don't I as an end user, I really don't find very enjoyable. Let's move to a different topic because I don't want to get angry about this, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get into like the meats and potatoes of this. So what we have here today is a competitive genius when it comes to the actual Pokemon games.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far, but continue.
I
No,
I would, bro. I'm the only one that has to face your abuse, man. I don't even play competitive like that, bro. You
Last time
guys don't know, man. This man, Shaman, literally like I can't use that type of language on this pod, man, but he violated me so hard, man.
yo, I kid you not, bro. I beat this Array dude, bro. I knocked on all like four of his like Pokemon like without using a single attacking move. So
Yeah.
this dude's been violated nonstop. So just imagine having that like going against Rigo.
Yeah, dude.
wait,
I
how it?
literally chose like the strongest Pokemon that I can think of. You know what I mean? And I'm playing this guy. I think he had. What, did you have like Lapras or something?
Yeah, I had Lapras, Gengar. So
Yeah, yeah. So tell everyone the strategy because this is
oh
not
gosh.
fair, man.
Okay, just so you know, it's very easily counterable if you know what you're doing. Um, it basically works is you have one Pokemon that does Perish Song, and Perish Song makes you faint in 4 turns, and then you have a Pokemon which would prevent the person from escaping, unless they were a Ghost type, right? Um,
Right, right.
so I would just do that and just like protect 2 of the turns, and just try to like tank the 1 turn that I know I'm going to be taking damage. So all 4 of mine were still alive, and I ended up. Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm so down bad.
It's
Uh,
all good.
yeah, sorry. So yeah, this dude was shaken to his core.
No, that's actually hilarious, bro. Since I mean, I played the game, right? I played the game on the 64. On the N64, I was too little to even comprehend what was going on. And then on the Game Boy Advance, that's when I kind of started getting into it. But that was when I just, I would just play the game just to like speed run through and just do the game and not like actually like if I were to play the game now again, like playing the game, I think is very different from playing against actual people because the actual like Elite Four and the gym trainers and all that, they're not the best, and
Mhm.
it's very very readable, as in you know what they're going to do every single time, and it's the same thing. But I've never actually played like with somebody else. I think having like played with somebody else, I think that itself is pretty cool. Um, how do you get into this competitive sense or like competitive space within Pokemon? Is there like online tournaments or how does that work?
Okay, well, honestly, I wouldn't even take it that serious. I just happen to know about it because I just find it somewhat like fun to be just knowledgeable about it. So I would either just play matchmaking or I would just play with like the few people that I knew. So, and in terms of accessibility, it's made so much easier. Um, in terms of you just having a competitive ready team, because making a competitive ready team is insanely time consuming. It's not hard, it's just really time consuming. So instead of like you having to make one of your own from scratch with all 6 different types of Pokemon with different natures, different EVs and IVs and everything, and like making them revolve around a strategy, you could just go online on YouTube and then just search up a team code. So it'll give you like a random like a jumble of like letters and numbers, and then after that you could just have all 6, then you could just battle straight up. So the one dude that me and the Array constantly used to refer to as Aaron Cybertron Zeng on YouTube. So what we would do is like we would just go there and be like, okay, bro, just keep going and find a video, and then look at the video's like description to see which like code that he was using. So some of them were very, very like, sweaty teams where they had like, like it was a very skill-based one, and other teams were just fun, as in like it was very gimmicky and it was very easily counterable, but it all just depends on how bad or how good your opponent was. So it's like, some of them have a very strong foundation, and another teams have a foundation like like a house of cards where they crumble pretty simply. So, yeah, I mean, if you have Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, for doubles, you can go about just looking for team rental code. Or if you want to play singles, practically, I think you would have to go on Pokemon Showdown because it's too difficult to do it now in the mainline games because they have a 20-minute timer limit. And oh damn, I'm gonna have to stop myself eventually because I'm gonna talk too much about it. But do you guys know the reason why the Pokemon Company it endorses the doubles format instead of the singles format?
Why?
So they do it because this one guy put it in a, I think in a Reddit like response in the most harsh but the most accurate way possible. He's like, it's singles is a logistical nightmare because the entire point of singles existing is you'll just have to wait out your opponent, right? So this guy was like, listen, singles is like unusable in a competitive format because you have a bunch of like antisocial like sweats that will just literally take about like almost 2 hours to finish one single game when the game is going to 317 turns. I was like, okay, I could see how that's that like logistically because that'd be difficult. So imagine if you have like 300 to 400 like competitors in a single event, right? Like at your local regional championship or like any like the national championships, the international championships, and worlds. Like you need your games to finish within no more than 20 minutes. And honestly, most Pokemon games take way less than that because considering it's two of them attacking one target, right? And you instantly will get rid of that. And the point is like the entire point is like the fact is doubles is far more fast paced than singles, and that's why they decided to officially endorse that because they could just get people going. And honestly, doubles is very complicated. So if you guys ever want to see just how difficult it is, like, oh man, just try it out for yourselves.
Dude, I can kind of understand where you're coming from. I mean, I've played doubles with you, and those games haven't lasted that long. I've played with my cousin, even shorter. I'll be honest, man. After you kind of whooped my ass, I went on. I forgot that YouTuber you told me, but I got some links to some competitive teams there. I
Yeah.
used them, and I forced my little cousin to play with his regular team. So obviously, you already know what happened, but I had to get some revenge, make myself
Bro,
feel a
the
little
dude
bit
got the
better.
work, bro.
Yeah, and that didn't last that long. It lasted maybe 5 minutes, and
That's fine.
he cried longer than we played. So we'll just keep it at that.
Dog. Yeah. So that's
Wait, I had a question about so you said it lasts very long, right? But so
singles
the way,
does.
yeah, so the way, yeah, singles. The way I played, Pokemon, there was a lot of healing that went in, especially with the gym leaders and whatnot. How does the healing work? Because
Facts.
then you could just keep healing.
I used to spam revives.
Yeah, OTV too.
Unfortunately, that literally does not work in a competitive setting. You walk in with your four, you're not allowed to use any items. The only items you're allowed to use is the ones that they're holding. So berries or like something like a choice band where like it boosts your attack, but you cannot use any other move. Like you can't use external items to heal your thing up at all.
Damn. Okay. So I mean that makes sense since people would just literally be spamming. Because every time I
Yeah,
get
that's way better.
one of the leaders low, he used a hyper potion or a full restore. I'm like, God damn.
Bro,
So
for
it's
some
like
reason, yeah.
I was like, it's if you don't like half kill it and then like kill it instantly after the half, then it's just gonna heal. Or if you don't one shot it, it's just gonna heal. But yeah, what you were saying?
Oh, yeah, that's me and you definitely got to run it back, bro. Like, if you do you have Scarlet or Violet or no?
I don't. I haven't honestly. I haven't played since probably which ones were the platinum and
Dang, you haven't played it in a
yeah.
minute then.
Damn,
I haven't played in mad long, bro. I haven't played in mad long, but bro, I used to actually. You know why I played even more recently than platinum? I played Leaf Green on an emulator on my phone.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, allegedly, I played League of Korean on a tablet. But yeah, I think I think I wouldn't go out and buy any more Pokemon games. I have a Wii U. I don't know if they have any Pokemon
Man,
No.
games
you
for
gotta
that.
get a Switch, bro. They're all on the Switch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The Wii I think has Battle Revolutions, which honestly is not bad, but it's just not a
Hmm.
mainline game. The Switch, if you could get somebody to give you the game, just
Hmm.
if they're not playing it, honestly, if you don't mind playing at 14 frames per second, uh, no, dude, the performance issues of the new game are so bad.
Yeah,
Really?
it's tough, man.
Ray, have you seen how choppy the
Dude,
frame rate gets?
dude, like the world itself is like amazing, but it the shit doesn't load in, man.
Bro,
It's like Fortnite day one, bro. You can't see
bro,
anything.
it stutters so much.
Yeah.
So like the story and the gameplay is pretty on point. Kind of broken at times, but like overall, it's a pretty decent game. And I don't know, like I just find it fun. What do you call it? Just sparring against Aray. So yeah, if you ever get a
Wait,
chance,
Shaman.
yeah,
Sorry to cut you off, man. But let me ask you this question, man. So
yeah,
out of all the recent games, so I think there's been like three in the past year and a half. There's been Scarlet Violet, there's been Legends of Arceus.
Arceus, Snap. No, Snap. What's that? What's that thing called? What's the sideline game? What's the other one?
I
Pokemon Snap, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I got that too. I think that just came out recently
Okay,
too.
what's the other ones that you was talking about?
And Diamond and Pearl, Shiny Diamond and Pearl. Or what was it called? Brilliant Diamond and
Brilliant
Shining
Diamond, Shining
Pearl.
Pearl. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you rocking with the direction? I feel like they're spamming out games, man.
Um, I mean, gotta give them credit where credit's due. At least they're trying something slightly different, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
because like, how many times can can you try the age-old formula of like,
Hmm.
you have a legendary trio and like, you have a team that's bad and you have a friend and then you have like a rival and
Hmm.
how many times can you spam that before people start to get stale
That's true.
of the format? So honestly, I gotta give them props for at least trying to innovate a little bit.
Hmm.
So I don't mind the direction. I will say the game itself, if you would compare it to literally any other medium,
Hmm.
well, Pokemon has been left behind by like 20 something years. Like their core gameplay, their core mechanics haven't changed ever.
Wait, so out of all the games, which one would you say is your favorite or least favorite? Let me hear both. Like spin-offs to like Pokemon Dungeon and all the other stuff.
Oh yeah, Dungeon was another one. It
I
just
like
came out.
Dungeon, man. Oh,
No,
no way.
there was one that came out like in 2020, I'm pretty sure.
No way. I gotta get that. I didn't know that.
No, I'm pretty sure that one. There's also another one. That's one of the other ones that came out right after Sword and Shield came out.
I did
Okay.
not know that. That's
Yeah.
sick.
Where's the what were you saying?
I was gonna say, I kind of want to go over the fact that you said how they haven't changed anything in 20 plus years. I think I was talking to a friend earlier about how Call of Duty, how it changes. So corely it hasn't changed, right? Like Call of Duty multiplayer hasn't changed in a core essence in a while. But what they've done to like the whole essence of making a class and creating a class and the whole like user interface, I don't like what they did with it. I think they're overcomplicating the fuck out of everything. There's like 10 different attachments, and then with those attachments you can kind of tune attachments, and it's like I think sometimes games go overboard with their progressiveness. I think that's evident with Call of Duty. I think Pokemon has such a good like system that even though they haven't changed stuff for like that many years, the core fans still love, the classic, the true classic. And I think that's also I loved the true classic Call of Duty before. And I don't play like I used to be a huge Call of Duty person before. I
Hmm.
don't play any Call of Duty now just because it's like they made it in a way where you have to play the game like every single day, or you have to know a lot about the game to excel or do good at the game because there's so much shit going on. But it's like if I were to play like an older COD, I could just hop on after like a couple months and I'll be good within the first two games. I'll be good. But now it's a whole different like ball game, and I think that's an area where Pokemon kind of has done well. But you were talking about the side games or like this. How did they change it up? rather than the regular fighting.
Okay, fine. Maybe what do you call it? The core mechanics of like, the combat probably doesn't need to change, but like, how do I say this?
Like, what changes would you like to see?
Maybe different items and slightly like, mechanics that work well with the current like, combat system. Like, because there's certain parts of the game that just don't make any sense. Like, or certain abilities, if not competitively, or even if you're just playing through the story, are completely useless or completely like, ignored. So, you had brought up earlier when we was talking offline like that, uh, during Intimidate, like, physical attack is lowered, but there's literally nothing on the special attack side. That's it. Like there's no Pokemon that does that. And for that specific reason, most competitive formats on the doubles side is always done, what do you call it, um with with special attackers, because they're like, well, we don't have to worry about like, playing one step back anymore.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, I think that's something they haven't changed like since the beginning. They just kept it that way. That's
So they basically just kept it like that. So I'm like, either introduce a new ability or update a current ability or do something. But the way Pokemon games normally work is they make iterative improvements, not in the same game, but they just have it fixed in the next game. So whichever game is going to be their next one is when they're going to change and like update it. So I'm like,
got you.
I really
Okay,
don't like the fact that like you can't fix a certain mechanic in the same game.
so there's no
Yeah.
like updates or hot fixes that they do. They don't throw any of those.
They do hot fixes, but like mainly it's for performance. But when it comes to like game altering the game mechanics, it's
Mhm.
literally almost never been done in that way, shape, or form,
Yeah, so
ever.
I can kind of hop on that a little bit. So for Scarlet, or for actually, you know what? For Legends of Arceus, right? One of the newer games that came out, it's different than the typical game where you have to go through like the gyms and whatnot. There were a lot of weird issues with that. Like you could do some weird stuff. Like you could run around on I think it was called Stanler, that's the name of the Pokemon, but some
Mhm.
of the things just didn't make any sense. And they try to patch it up, but it was just weird, and I don't think they'd ever be able to fix it unless they make a new game. So I think that's kind of what Shaman is talking about a little bit. But
Very much so. I think they're also, I think, and like, I'm sorry. Okay. Damn it. I gotta
no,
hurry through this. I just want to get this off my chest.
yeah.
I think if you guys look at gameplay videos or something, the animations for the attacks are, I'm like, dude, that you guys are in 2023, and how come you guys still struggle so much with like, why is it that like, it's edited like a bad film from the 80s and 90s where something will happen on one side of the screen and then it will happen on the other side of the screen. I'm like, why can't there just be one continuous, why can't there just be one continuous motion? You could
No,
see it's going, you could see like something going from point A to point B instead of those two things happening separately. I'm like, how is that even possible? Like, how is it
So
that your art department can't get that right?
right. So Shaman, here's my theory. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on this as well, and yours too, Owen. So there's over 1,000 Pokemon. So obviously there's going to be roughly around 1,000, if not more, moves. I feel like to be able to get all those moves properly animated for each Pokemon that can use them, you know what I mean? Like each animation is going to look different. I feel like that can be super complex for them to be able to do. I don't think it's going to take them like a year or two to be able to do that. Maybe they'll get there eventually, but I guess I feel like that's my theory on it. What are you guys' thoughts on my theory? And also, like, do you guys think that they should stop producing that many Pokemon? It's like endless at this point.
so
Well, yeah.
yeah, you want to go first or?
No, you first, dude.
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to say was actually it's funny. So they still do this like I remember back in the day where like I used to use like scratch or bite, and then it would show like the Pokemon just slightly shift to the left or slightly shift to the right.
You're right.
Do they still do that where it's like they don't show the actual animation of the hydro pump hitting the person like the Pokemon?
No, so it'll come out from one side and then you'll see it from the other side. I'm like, no, why can't we see both of them at the same time? If Lapras uses Hydro Pump, why can't it just go from here and hit the other person in like one fluid motion? It'll start from one side and then it'll cut to the other side.
Yeah, I mean I honestly don't agree with that at all. I agree with you where they should have it just completely animated. I don't know why they don't do that. I don't think so. I know in like old this is something that I've realized about older Pokemon games. I think it was either it was on the 64, it was on the GameCube, or the Wii. Not it wasn't like a handheld device. It was more of a console. But that game, it was like a 3D type of Pokemon game. And when they showed like an attack being presented, it showed it pretty well. I don't like I know that they don't do that in the handheld like games. They don't show it well at all. But I forgot what that game was. It was like a 3D looking Pokemon
You're
game.
probably talking about Pokemon Coliseum.
Yeah, probably.
That game was honestly like it was great. It's kind of like what Scarlet and Violet is now, with obviously not the same twist, but yeah, my bad. Shaman, go ahead. I want to hear your answer on this one.
I mean, I think you make a good point that, like, it's a lot of work to do. So maybe they could take, like, a calculated approach where they only do ones that are relatively popular, or the ones that seem easiest in concept. But like, I think they're very much just limited on the amount of what is it? The amount of, like, hardware they have to work with. Because on a Switch is not on a PC. Because imagine if Pokemon was made on a PC. Just imagine that.
No, yeah, that's definitely the main issue. I would assume like the what it's how much is to Switch 60 FPS max, right?
Think
What is it,
so.
30 FPS max for the Pokemon games?
I want to say it's 720 at 30. So I'm not.
30? Damn.
I'll have to look. I'll have to look, bro.
God damn. Yeah, they're definitely not making any crazy animations with that. I felt like Nintendo, like a Switch is a whole ass console though. I feel like they should be able to come up with something. I feel like they had such good animations on some of the PS4 games and the Xbox One games. Would that is the Nintendo Switch on par with like the PS4 at least?
Okay, I think you was right, by the way. I think it's 1080. It's at a maximum of 1080p at 60 FPS. But I don't think I've ever seen a game that I've played that does that. But maybe there are ones.
No, normally like okay, it would be 60 FPS, right? But a lot of games aren't 60 FPS. A lot of shooters are like 60 FPS or higher because you need like the on spot like the reactions and everything. It's what do you call it? Shooters are very fast, so you need high refresh rates. But when it comes to Pokemon, it's like very input based. So you just
Yeah,
input it and it just does it. You don't need the high end graphics
I
or
disagree.
no, I think they should have it for the animations. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I
No,
think
no,
they
no, no,
should.
no. No. I disagree with the point
Oh,
where you
okay.
said about the input, because
Yeah, how does that work then?
you don't need constant input like you have something in Call of Duty, but because, like, you have 60 seconds to decide on moves. There's not much input there.
Yeah.
You press A 3 times, end of story. That's
Yeah,
it. So
yeah, exactly. I'm saying what I'm saying is like it's not a intensely based like it's not a heavily intense game that they need to do it. So
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
should be able to put more of that into the animation. I think they should, but I don't know how that works and why they don't have it like that. It's like the way I've seen Pokemon as I've grown up, like we've seen the attacks hit, we've seen the Pokemon damage, we've seen the Pokemon have scratches and all that. If they had like imagine like the Pokemon like the fur would be kind of like burnt or like we got a little of like
That would
those
be
type of
fire.
effects
Hmm.
like we like a stun spore and we'd see them actually like kind of paralyzed or whatever.
Hmm.
I think that would be crazy. The way they depict it in the shows, those fights used to go so hard. Like I remember watching the Charizard versus Articuno fight. That was one of my favorite fights. But did you guys used to watch like the Pokemon movies at all?
Hell yeah,
I
man.
I remember seeing, like, the first one with
The
Mewtwo
first
and
one was crazy, dog. Like that one, that's like a core memory for me, for sure.
No,
Um,
Mewtwo. It was a Mewtwo one, right? That first one.
yeah,
I think
where
that's
like
what I saw.
Or I think it's Ash punches Mewtwo, and I'm like, damn, bro.
Oh
Bro,
yeah, bro.
dude was about to fade. Dude
Yeah.
was about to get faded real quick, I swear.
All right, yo, we've got about like 6 or 7 minutes left. Can we do a rapid section right here? So
Let's do it.
I've got like a bunch of questions. You
Let's do it.
know,
Let's do it. Let's do it.
tackle this. All right, let's turn the TikTok camera on. All right, here we go. First of all, what's your guys' favorite generation for the Pokemon? Sham goes first, and then Owen.
Uh, either Gen 8 or Gen 9.
Which one is that?
No, like, they got rid of, what do you call it, HMs. So That's the main reason.
Oh, so this is for the game only, not for like the actual Pokemon, right? Meaning like you're talking about like
You
the
just said
gener.
Gen. You just said Gen. So
Okay, okay.
okay.
No,
Let's
no,
keep
no. I'm
it
asking
rapid
you.
fire. Let's keep it rapid
Okay,
fire. Let's
okay.
go to
On you go.
The one with Sceptile, Mudkip, and
Generation 3.
yeah, that was my
Fire.
favorite. That was my favorite.
That's my favorite, and number 2, Johto. That's also my favorite.
Mhm.
All right. What's your guys' favorite spin-off game? So like Dungeon, Coliseum, and etc.
Pokemon Snap.
Snap is fire.
Pokemon Go. Loki. I mean, I've never played any
Oh,
other like, you know.
I'm a
that's a
level
that's a
39 in that one, so really.
goddamn. All right. Over 1,000 Pokemon. Which one is your favorite, or top 3? Whichever one's easier for you to answer.
Oh, on you go first because mine is a bit
Okay.
more involved.
Mine is my favorite of all time is Lugia.
Okay.
Bitch. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know why. It's just for me, Lugia just has the coolest, like it just looks the coolest. But yeah.
Okay, I'm a cheat on this one, so I'm gonna give you 2. So, my base favorite is Greninja, but
Okay.
my second most favorite is what's that dude? You know how they have Gigantamaxing in Pokemon Sword and Shield?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know that the big centipede thing,
Mhm.
Centiskorch? I've seen
Yeah.
Gigantamax Centiskorch is that thing is amazing. That's my favorite one.
All right. So I guess that kind of answers my next question. Do you guys like the whole Gigantamax thing and like the future and past Pokemon? Yes or no?
I don't know what that is. So if Shaman can kind of explain that, that'd be perfect.
Okay, damn. Which question is this on the list, brother?
So this is more of like off the top of my head, but I'm just wondering, like in general, like, do you like Gigantamaxing or no?
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting to see different types of like mechanics that they throw in to keep the game, I guess, less stale. Which I
Mhm.
guess kind of counters the point that I made about 10 minutes ago.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah,
All right, and last question. What are your future thoughts on Pokemon? Meaning, like, what do you think they should implement in the future, or is there anything that you'd like to see?
I mean, they're a money printing machine, and it can only get better from here.
Facts.
So, on you go.
I mean, I don't really play Pokemon or I'm really involved with Pokemon too much at this point. Um, my nephews actually are getting uh to that age where they're getting involved in Pokemon. I honestly, there's nothing I can really want more Pokemon. Pokemon has given me so much already, but yeah, it's like I haven't been involved with Pokemon currently, so I really
Mhm.
can't say I would want anything in the future. But Pokemon has served me well.
Yeah,
Gotcha. All right.
if you ever get a chance to have a Switch, please try it.
Yeah, bro. I legit have 2 Switches, bro. I'll lend you mine, bro, and I'll lend you the games.
Honestly,
No
try it.
joke,
Like,
bro.
Nah, I mean, I'll definitely play some Pokemon if this is which Pokemon game is it?
try Scarlet
There's
and
so many.
Violet. It's pretty
Yeah,
decent.
yeah. There's so many cool things on that. All right, let me give my opinion, and then I want to hear your guys' thoughts, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right,
All
cool.
right. So I want to see like an edgy version of Pokemon where basically like, a lot of the audience of Pokemon is a lot older now. So I want to see some darker things where like people like not abuse Pokemon, but like we see some like fighting, like actual like death matches or cool shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yo,
What
my
what are you guys' thoughts on that? Real
we
quick.
need to watch.
There's precedent that exists because apparently,
No
what do you
way.
call it? No, there's precedent that exists in one of the games. What do you call it? They're saying that Gengar and Clefable are basically almost one and the same thing. They're like the same size, they have the same shape, like but
Right.
like they made a hint to that, and I think it was either the game or the show. But like when Gary was trying to fix one of his dudes, like one of them ended up passing away. I was like, oh my
Goddamn.
goodness.
God damn, bro. All I know is my boy Aray wants to see some Pokemon abuse, bro.
Bro, yeah, my
Well,
man's
if you
wild.
if you think about it, I mean, they eat meat in the show, but what other meat are
Where'd they get
there
it
other
from?
than Pokemon, right?
Yeah. Oh my
All
God.
right.
Yeah.
There's fishermen, but there's only Magikarp. You feel me?
Yo, Loki, there's a lot of weird shit that be happening subtly in Pokemon. But
Yeah.
that Pokemon food thing, I think is one of the
If
craziest.
you think about it, they're all Michael Vicks out there because they're all like fighting with their Pokemon. All right, that's enough, man. I think that's gonna be
So,
it for this episode. Thank you again, Shaman, for pulling up on the pod. I know it's last
hey, no
second,
problem. Hey,
and
no problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
we
we got to do a
appreciate
part
it.
2 to this. This was fun for sure.
Definitely.
All
No,
right,
I mean, we got a lot of. I mean, I'm a huge Pokemon person. When I was younger, I was hugely into Pokemon. I've been, a bit away from it as of recent, but I did get a very good refresher from my boy Shaman over here, and
Got us, bro.
we really appreciate that.
I got
yeah,
us,
for
bro.
sure. All right, with that being said, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you again, Shaman. If you guys want to see all our links in the description, we have a new website that's up and running. Obviously, our Discord, if you guys want to join that, and all our socials will be in the link in the description. With that being said, peace out, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode of Anime Plus. Peace.
Peace.
Later, guys. Ho, guys.